Let's be real, she didn't leave because you weren't good enough. She left because somewhere along the line, you forgot who you were. And here's the part most guys don't want to hear, but need to. The moment you made her the center of your universe, you lost gravity in hers. That's right. While you were busy chasing, texting, overthinking, and trying to prove your worth, she was quietly losing interest. Not because you weren't lovable, but because you stopped leading your own life. Now here's the controversial truth. Women are attracted to a man who is in motion, a man who is growing, building, improving. Not the man constantly checking his phone hoping she finally texts back. Not the guy stalking her stories or sending late-night paragraphs about how he misses her. The more you make her your focus, the less she feels your value. But the moment you put all that energy back into yourself, your fitness, your money, your purpose, your peace, something shifts. Suddenly she's watching again. She's curious. She's wondering how you went from being the guy who couldn't move on to the man every woman wants to chase. This isn't a manipulation tactic. It's a mindset. It's not about being cold or playing games. It's about reclaiming your power as a man who doesn't beg for attention because he already has his own. Let's be honest. Most guys today are stuck in a loop. They give up their identity for relationships. They lose their ambition trying to prove their loyalty. And in the end, they're left with nothing except regret. This video is for the men who are done with that. Done chasing. Done trying to convince someone to see their worth. It's time to flip the script. Because the truth is simple, fellas. The more you focus on yourself, the more she starts to wonder why she ever left. Let's break down exactly why that happens, step by step. 1. She left. Because you chased too hard. Most men think chasing a woman shows how much they care. But here's the hard truth. Chasing often pushes her away. Why? Because the moment you start chasing, you flip the dynamic. You go from being the man she was attracted to the man constantly trying to earn her attention. And the more you chase, the less she values you. That's the brutal part no one tells you. Women don't fall for guys who are always available, always texting, always calling, always showing up uninvited. They fall for the man who has his own life, his own standard, and doesn't lose himself just because she's pretty. What chasing really shows is neediness. It tells her you don't believe you're enough on your own. It says you need her to feel valuable. And that energy, it kills attraction instantly. Think about it. You're texting first every time. You're double texting when she doesn't reply. You're overthinking every emoji she sends. You're working for her love. When love isn't something you chase, it's something you attract. Women are wired to respond to strength, independence, and certainty, not desperation. Let's make it simple. A guy meets a girl. They click. He starts texting her constantly, buying her gifts, canceling his plans just to be available. At first she's flattered, but then it becomes too much, too easy, too predictable. She starts pulling away. He notices and chases even harder, thinking more attention will fix it. But instead of bringing her closer, it pushes her further away, until she finally says, "I need space." What happened? He stopped being the man she was drawn to. He became the guy trying too hard to keep her. And once you're in that position, you've already lost your power. Lesson? You don't win her by running after her. You win her by running toward yourself. Pull back. Stop chasing. Let her come to you. Because when you stop trying to prove your worth, that's when she starts remembering it. 2. Attention kills attraction. This one stings, but it needs to be said. The more attention you give her, the less she wants it. A lot of guys confuse attention with love. They think, if I show her I care, text her good morning, check on her, compliment her constantly, she'll stay. But here's the problem. Too much attention too early makes you predictable and boring. In the beginning, your attention is exciting because it's rare. It has value. But when it becomes constant, it becomes noise. She starts to feel like she's already won you. And now, there's nothing left to chase. You see, attraction lives in the unknown, in the space, in the mystery. When you take that away, When you're always available, always responding, always around. You remove the challenge, and without challenge, there's no tension. Without tension, there's no attraction. It's like this. If you're always giving her attention, she doesn't get a chance to miss you. She doesn't get to wonder where you are, who you're with, what you're doing. And that curiosity, that wondering, that's what keeps her interested. But when you're constantly in her face, texting back in seconds, liking every story, reacting to every post, you lose that edge. She starts to feel smothered, not desired. Let me paint it clearly. A guy meets a girl. He likes her. He starts texting her constantly, giving her all his time, dropping compliments like confetti. She enjoyed it for a while. But now, she's not replying as fast. She's not as warm. Why? Because she's no longer thinking about him. He's always there. Meanwhile, another guy she barely hears from, he's the one she's thinking about before bed. It sounds unfair, but it's real. Scarcity creates value. Your attention is like gold. Treat it like that. Don't hand it out for free. Don't give it to someone who hasn't earned it. When you pull back, when you keep some of yourself to yourself, you create space for her to lean in. Let her wonder. Let her reach out. Let her invest. Because when you give less attention, you give her something to crave. 3. Women notice. When you go silent. Let's not pretend. Going silent after being available for so long isn't easy, but it's powerful. And the truth is, they always notice it. You don't have to block her. You don't have to post cryptic stories or try to look unbothered. Just stop reaching out. Stop giving her that constant stream of attention she got used to. At first, she won't react. She might even act like she doesn't care. But slowly, it starts to bother her. That silence speaks louder than any text. It creates a gap she didn't expect. Because whether she admits it or not, she was used to your presence. Used to knowing you were always there. Even if she wasn't replying like she used to, she still liked knowing you were around. It gave her control. But now, you're not checking in. You're not liking her pictures. You're not giving her updates on your life. And suddenly, she's not the one deciding when to talk. You are. That's when the shift happens. Your silence triggers something deeper than any conversation. It makes her wonder what changed. It makes her question if you've moved on. It forces her to sit with the absence she thought she wanted. Because the truth is, most women expect men to hold on longer. They expect you to keep trying, keep waiting, keep hoping. But when you stop, when you go completely silent, that's when she starts asking herself the questions she avoided. Why hasn't he called? Why isn't he watching my stories? Is he seeing someone else? And that quiet little voice, that curiosity, that's the same thing that used to make you overthink. Now it's doing the same to her. You're no longer the guy begging for attention. You've become the one she has to figure out again. So don't mistake silence for weakness. It's not passive. It's powerful. It's the moment you stop giving energy to someone who took it for granted and start investing it back into yourself. And whether she shows it or not, she notices the silence. Every time. 4. The gym replaces her fast. Let's be honest, brother. Some of you gave up on yourself the moment she gave up on you. You stopped eating right. You started scrolling instead of moving. You let your emotions drive your choices, and in the process, you let her take your edge. You made her your priority and forgot your body, your health, your image. That's not love. That's self-neglect dressed up as loyalty. Here's the truth. Your body is your foundation. If you don't respect it, no one else will. You want to stop thinking about her? Go sweat it out. You want to stop feeling weak? Pick up something heavy. The gym doesn't talk back. It doesn't ghost you. It doesn't need space. It's there every day, ready to build you, if you're willing to show up. But some of you won't. You'd rather sit and cry over texts she'll never send back than get under a barbell and push your limits. You'd rather replay old memories than build a new version of yourself. And that's where the problem starts. You're not broken, you're just undisciplined. You don't need her to heal. You need structure, sweat, and goals. The gym gives you all three. It demands effort, consistency, and pain. And in return, it gives you clarity, power, and pride. You want to become a man who doesn't get easily shaken by a breakup? Get in the gym. You want to remind yourself that you're capable, that you can transform, that you still own your story? Lift something. Run hard. Train like your life depends on it. Because your self-worth might. Every time you skip the gym, you choose comfort over power. Every time you hit snooze, you give her more space in your head. And the longer you stay down, the harder it is to get back up. Wake up. You don't need her attention. You need your own respect. And there's no faster way to get that back than through discipline and sweat. The gym doesn't just replace her, it rebuilds you. And once you get that version of yourself back, she won't recognize you, but you will. 5. Money fixes more than heartbreak. Most men underestimate just how much peace comes from having your finances right. You're hurt because she left? Cool. But what's worse is being heartbroken and broke. You can't heal in chaos. And financial stress is one of the fastest ways to lose your sense of self. It drains your confidence. It makes you desperate. It puts you in survival mode. That's why when everything falls apart emotionally, you double down on your grind. Because here's the thing. Money doesn't just solve bills. It solves mindset. It gives you options, freedom, and control. It takes you out of reaction and puts you back into creation. When a woman walks away, most guys fall apart. They sit around feeling like they lost everything, when in reality, she was never supposed to be everything. Your purpose is. Your mission is. And guess what? That mission needs funding. You don't feel lost because she left. You feel lost because you have no plan, no progress, and no power over your future. You think being emotional is your downfall? No, being unprepared is. Stack your money, and your emotions won't feel so loud. Build something, and your heartbreak won't seem so heavy. Because here's the raw truth. When you have money, your life opens up. You get to focus on growth, not survival. You move with calm, not chaos. You make decisions from strength, not fear. And yes, women notice it too. They notice when you shift your energy from trying to win her back to trying to win in life. That's the moment you become attractive again. Not because you're chasing her, but because you're chasing your goals. So let's stop pretending that being broke and in love is romantic. It's not. It's a trap. You want peace? Get your money right. You want confidence? Build something that pays you. You want to stop thinking about her? Get so busy building wealth that you don't even have time to check who watched your story. Because once your focus shifts from what you lost to what you're building, everything, including her opinion, starts to mean a whole lot less. And that's when you win. The 6, she's attracted to men. She can't control. It's uncomfortable to hear, but some of you became too easy to control, and that's exactly when she lost interest. You thought being available was love. You thought saying yes to everything would make her stay. You thought going along with her moods, her drama, her tests, would prove your loyalty. But what actually happened is, you gave up your spine. You stopped being a man she could respect and became a man she could manage. And here's the truth. Once she can control you, she can't desire you. Not in the way you think. Not in the way that lasts. Women may say they want a nice guy, but deep down, they want a man they can't push around. A man with his own rules, his own standards, and the balls to say no when something crosses the line. You were scared to disagree, scared to upset her, scared to lose her. So you became agreeable, soft, emotionally reactive. And in doing that, you killed the mystery. You killed the edge. You killed the very thing that made her see you as a man, not a servant. Let's be clear. This isn't about being toxic, cold, or disrespectful. It's about having boundaries and sticking to them. It's about not letting her emotions dictate your behavior. Because when she sees that she can't make you jump every time she snaps, when she realizes you won't drop your mission just to please her, when she notices that her approval doesn't control your self-worth, that's when her attraction kicks in again. She doesn't want a robot. She doesn't want a doormat. She wants to know that the man she's with is someone she has to earn, not someone she already owns. So ask yourself, are you leading your life or letting her lead it for you? Because when a woman realizes she can't fully control you, emotionally, mentally, or sexually, that's when she starts chasing again. And if she doesn't like that version of you, let her go. Because the man who stands firm in who he is will always attract better than the one who bends just to be liked. 7. Stop being her therapist. You are not her therapist. You are not her emotional sponge. You are not her safe space to dump everything while giving you nothing in return. Some of you turned into emotional support systems instead of men with direction. You let her cry on your shoulder, vent about her problems, unload her drama, and in return, you got confusion, mixed signals, and the classic, "I'm not ready for anything serious right now." Sound familiar? That's because while you were busy being there for her, you forgot that emotional intimacy without physical desire is just friendship, and you played yourself. Women don't fall for the man who absorbs all their emotional baggage. They fall for the man who challenges them, leads them, and keeps his own emotions in check. Not cold, not numb, but grounded. You thought listening to her problems meant she'd love you more, but all it did was put you in the role of the guy she leans on, not the guy she lies awake thinking about. There's a difference. You're not helping her by always being available for her breakdowns. In fact, most of the time, she's not even looking for solutions, just attention. And when you give her that over and over again, she doesn't see strength. She sees softness. She sees a man who's too wrapped up in her emotions to focus on his own goals. And once that happens, you become predictable, boring, expendable. Because the man who makes her feel emotionally safe without creating any tension or mystery is the man she'll keep around, until she finds someone who gives her butterflies instead of therapy sessions. Here's the truth. You are not the cure for her chaos. You're not supposed to fix her. You're supposed to build your life, stay focused, and protect your energy. If she wants real support, let her pay someone who's trained for it. You're not her counselor. You're a man with standards. So stop playing the emotional trash can hoping she'll fall for you. She won't. Let her handle her own storms while you build your empire. 8. Her respect comes after your purpose. If you don't have purpose, don't expect respect. It's that simple. A man without direction becomes a man she can't follow. Because he's not going anywhere. He's floating, drifting, reacting to life instead of driving it. And the truth is, no matter how much she says she loves you, a woman will always lose respect for a man who has no mission. It's not personal. It's natural. Purpose gives you presence. It gives you structure, discipline, power. It makes you move different, think sharper, and respond slower. You're no longer driven by emotion. You're driven by vision. And that vision is magnetic. Women are drawn to men who are building something. Men who don't just talk, but execute. Men who have something bigger than love keeping them up at night. Because here's the harsh reality. If your entire life revolves around her, she will eventually pull away. Not because she's cruel, but because she can't admire a man who revolves around her world instead of building his own. A man on purpose has less time to argue, less time to chase, less time to overthink texts and moods and mixed signals. Why? Because he's too busy creating, grinding, building, growing. And ironically, that's when she starts paying attention again. That's when she starts to wonder what you're doing, why you're unavailable, why you're not as emotionally invested as before. She starts to feel that shift in your energy, the shift from boyfriend mode to focused man mode, and it pulls her back in. Because now you're not just another guy trying to win her. You're the guy she has to earn a spot beside. And that's the key. Respect doesn't come from love. It comes from alignment. Alignment with something bigger than her. Something that drives you even when she's not around. So if you want her attention, get her respect. If you want her respect, get your purpose straight. Don't lose yourself trying to keep her. Find yourself, and let her decide if she can keep up. 9. Your peace is her weakness. You want to know what really drives her crazy? It's not money, not muscles, not mystery. It's your peace. When you reach a point where her actions no longer shake you, when you're calm, grounded, and unaffected by the noise, that's when everything changes. Because most guys are emotionally unstable when it comes to women. They react fast. They get triggered by silence. They argue to prove a point. They beg, they chase, they explain themselves over and over, just to be heard. But the man who's truly at peace? He doesn't move like that. He doesn't seek validation. He doesn't compete for attention. He's centered, detached, dangerously calm. And that calmness, that inner stillness she can't shake, it makes her feel powerless. She doesn't know what to do with a man who doesn't flinch. She's used to causing reactions, used to being able to pull you back with a text, a mood swing, or a little silence of her own. But now, you don't respond the same. You don't argue, you don't panic, you don't play the emotional chess game anymore. You've found peace within yourself, and suddenly, her drama has no fuel. That's power. Because peace doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care more about your own state of mind than you do about temporary emotions. It means you've chosen self-control over chaos, discipline over reaction, growth over games. And when she sees that, when she realizes she can no longer manipulate your mood, control your energy, or get under your skin like before, that's when the dynamic flips. That's when she becomes curious again, interested again, pulled in. Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you've stopped needing her. Your peace is your greatest weapon. Protect it at all costs. Don't trade it for attention. Don't sacrifice it for arguments. Don't lose it trying to prove a point. When you can sit in silence, focused, unbothered, and building your life, she will feel it, and it'll shake her more than any words ever could. 10. You level up. She doubts her choice. Nothing makes her rethink everything like watching you become the man she didn't believe you could be. She may not say it. She may never admit it. But once you start leveling up, physically, mentally, financially, she notices. And deep down, she starts to question her decision. See, when she left, she thought you'd fall apart. She expected tears, late-night texts, emotional spirals. She assumed you'd stay stuck, thinking she was the best thing that ever happened to you. But then the opposite happened. You focused. You hit the gym. You got sharper with your goals. You stopped chasing and started building. And suddenly, you're not the same man she walked away from. You're colder, calmer, more in control. Your energy changed. Your standards changed. Your life changed. And now? She's the one watching from a distance. Maybe she's still following you online. Maybe she's lurking through mutual friends. Maybe she's pretending she doesn't care, while secretly hoping you'll reach out. But you don't, because you've outgrown that version of yourself, the one who put her on a pedestal while ignoring your own growth. Now, the power has shifted. You no longer want her validation. You no longer need her approval. Because your life speaks louder than anything she thought about you. And deep down, that burns. Not out of hate, but regret. Regret that she didn't stay long enough to see who you are becoming. Regret that she bet against you and lost. Because when a man levels up, everything changes. The way he walks, the way he talks, the way people treat him, and most importantly, the way he sees himself. And that's the part she can't touch anymore. You've built something she no longer has access to, your upgraded self. So don't go back. Don't lower your value just to prove a point. Don't shrink yourself to fit back into the version she left behind. Let her sit with the silence. Let her watch from the sidelines. Let her question everything she thought she knew. Because once you level up, You become the one who decides who stays in your life, not her. Let's wrap it up with the truth most men aren't ready to hear. She didn't break you. You broke yourself by making her your purpose. That's the part nobody says out loud. You gave up your edge. You handed over your power. And when she left, it wasn't just about her. It was a wake-up call for you to become the man you were always meant to be. Because here's the most controversial part of it all. She wasn't your loss. You were hers. She just doesn't know it yet, but she will, once you rebuild. And when she finally looks back and sees what you've become, she'll realize she didn't walk away from a man. She walked away from a kingdom still under construction. Now, I want to hear from you. What part of this video hit hardest? What's your story? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and I respond personally. This isn't just a channel. It's a brotherhood. And you're not going through this alone. Let's keep building, together.